All right, last example for lesson 4-4 for math 7. So this example number 3 is the most complicated one out of the 3 because you'll notice this one has a fraction with a numerator other than 1. You know, we had 1/6 in the first example, 1/5 in the second example, but this time we don't have 1 over something, we have 3/4. So we'll take a look at what that does for us. So just like in the other problems, I'm absolutely starting off with that distribution. 3/4 times both pieces inside the parentheses. So 3 times x is 3x on the top. 4 times 1 is 4 on the bottom. Keeping my plus sign in the middle. 3 times 11 is 33. And 4 times 1 is 4. Equals -12. Okay, and so this is where you might be jumping to your calculator. The 3/4 is just that 3/4 fraction. I can't really do anything with that. But I can rewrite that as 3/4x with the x next to it. 33/4, I'm checking to do that division in my calculator to see if that's a nice normal decimal that I can work with, and it is. 33/4 is really just 8.25. So I'm going to use that 8.25 in my equation because it's a little bit easier than the fraction. You can only do that if it's not a repeating decimal. Repeating decimals must remain as fractions. And I think one of your homework problems asks you to leave it as a fraction. Okay, so we are starting off now, or continuing by isolating our x term, which would be that 3/4 x. To get rid of that positive 8.25, I'm going to do the opposite and subtract that 8.25. So my 3/4 x gets to carry down, is equal to, and again, I'm forgetting that line down the center, which totally puts this off balanced. I just don't understand. I'm just, okay, erase, select, move, erase, sorry, completely unnecessary. Okay, anyway, 3/4 x is equal to 12, -12 minus another 8.25 is going to be 20, -20.25. And you might be remembering how to deal with that fraction in front of the variable from our very, very first lesson. If not, I'll remind you. It was the last example we did here. To get rid of a fraction that is multiplied by the variable, you must multiply by that reciprocal or flip that fraction. So here, the fraction 3/4 is preventing that from being alone. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So I'm going to multiply each piece by 4/3. So my 3/4 and 4/3 cancel out because that's what I wanted to happen. And now -20.25 times 4 ends up being a negative, because remember, swoopity and multiply tops by tops, bottoms by bottoms, -81. And again, you're using a calculator to do that math because you have too much other things to remember. 3 times 1 is 3. And then last final step, just checking to see if that, do that actual division. Is -81 divided by 3 a nice normal number that we can deal with? And it ends up being a nice normal number, -27. So x is equal to -27 as our final answer there. And last but not least, we will do our check. So per usual, starting off, rewriting the original as it is, then coming back, filling in that x with those parentheses. In for my x, I can now put that -27. And again, order of operations here. So inside my groupings first. Negative 27 plus 11 is negative 16. Negative 16 over 1 times 3/4 is going to be negative 16 times 3 is negative 48 on the top. 4 times 1 is 4 on the bottom. And last final step, do that division. Negative 48 divided by 4 is indeed a negative 12, which is equal to negative 12 on the other side, which proves my check works out. All right, so again, make sure you are showing all of your steps. Make sure you're checking when I ask you to, but only when I ask you to. So looking at these practice problems, I'm only asking you to do the check for 3 of them.